What's going on, social media? So we were having some technical difficulties today. I made the mistake of posting saying we were going live at 8 p.m. tonight, but I lied. So we're actually going live, at 7. But then, the way the live broadcasting works, it won't allow me to go live more than 10 minutes early on LinkedIn. So, but hey, we're here, and it's just Jeremy and I today. Eldrick has something going on with his new gig, so today we go talk about exactly just that, right? Mindset and career, right? Because we all experience burnout, and I know it's been my pet peeve. I've been seeing so much posts about how if you have passion, if you love what you do,
You don't have to
you're
wait
go
another day.
yeah, you don't ever work another day. It's like a vacation every day. And I have to be honest with you, I don't agree with that statement because there's been positions and roles that I've been in where in the corporate world and even in my own company I founded. I love my job, I love my company, but at the same time, mentally, I can't say that every Monday feels like a vacation for me.
Hmm.
There are days where I don't look forward to working, and um, I call it a bunch of BS. Just to be honest with you, people that make that statement, because I don't care who you are. I love my kids, right? I will sacrifice myself for my kids because I love them. But there are days I love my kids, but I want a day without them. So how does that work regards to work or your company or your job? So that to me doesn't make sense. I want to hear it from you, Jeremy. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, let's just start by we did, right? Just apologizing to everyone's
Yep.
on. We were late, but it's also kind of a mindset thing, right? You can think that, oh, the whole thing messed up. We didn't, manage the software well, whatever. But you can look at it the other way. We're actually waiting for Aldrich to see if he can turn up. So if we start later, there's a higher chance that he can turn up. It's all mindset, right? It's how you frame it, how you see the problem. How do I see the topic today? Um, yeah, this is where we get personal, right? That let's tackle that saying first, right? If you are passionate or you love what you do, you don't have to work another day. Um, I I don't find that true, and only because when you determine or you define work, work is essentially giving up your time for money, right? Yes, no. So so if we go by the definition, you will always be working whether you're doing a job you like or not. Um, and I like the fact that you pointed out, Kevin, earlier that you love your job and you love your company. That is not always the same case for everyone. Yeah. Some people might love what they do. They are in the job that of their dreams, but they may not love their company. Some people may love where they are in terms of the company they join. Oh, this is my dream company. Case in point, me. When I went into advertising, that's what I studied. That was what I dream and visualized myself. Um, the type of company I wanted to go into, an advertising agency, um, full services, international brand, blah, blah, blah. I love the company, but did I love my job? No, which is why I quit in just 8 months, right? And it's hard. If we don't look at the if we don't look at the, if you're in the job that you are passionate about, you don't have to work another day. I think we need to look at it from, like you pointed out, these two aspects: whether you love your job and whether you love your company. And for the two to happen, I think that in itself takes a lot. Yeah. And even if you are not in the company you love, or you're not in the job you love, a lot can still be done here, right? Manage here on in terms of the mindset, how you view it, or how you choose to hypnotize, numb yourself, or psycho yourself out of the negatives. All these are things you can do, and don't underestimate the power of the mind.
Yep.
That's my quick summary.
I agree. So when we talk about, okay, so there's this mindset, right? When for me as an entrepreneur journey, when you start your own business, then, you're going to love, what you do. Choose something you love what you do, to make money, right? That way you wake up every day and you look forward to, it's your business, it's your,
Yep.
something you're passionate about. You're not making money for the big man, right? But at the same time, I have to say, over the years, the first 2 years is very exciting, right? It's new. You're so busy trying to just survive.
Honeymoon
Yeah,
period.
survival mode. So it's almost like marriage, right? Marriage, and don't get me wrong, I love my marriage. I love my wife, right? She might be on here. But at the same time, after years of marriage, you have to mentally make these choices, because things change, right? That's why they have what Jeremy just said, the honeymoon period. And I think career is very similar. Everyone's super excited about their new job. Every new role is exciting because it's a new company, you're learning. That's why you pick the job. But then over the years, year in, year out, over time, there is that mental drain. And I really believe it doesn't matter if you're passionate about your job, if you love it, there's the reality of it, right? So it's all about how do you go about it? So for me, what has really helped me over the years, and I'm one of those guys, I actually enjoy work in a way. So I work a lot and I don't mind the late hours. Even when I was working corporate, I think sometimes people are like, oh, Kevin, why are you working so late? You don't make any more salary for working later than other people. But I think it's more for myself. But then I also have experienced burnout, right? And I've learned that, hey, work's always there for you when you come back. Like it doesn't go anywhere, but like your health, your mindset, if once you go down the rabbit hole, it's very hard to, like Jeremy said, it's all about perspective. So if you start having that negative, you tell yourself, oh, I don't like waking up Mondays. Oh, I don't like this job. You go down that rabbit hole, it's easy to get stuck, and you just feel worse and worse, right? So you have to look for things that's positive. So for me, it's almost like sometimes stepping away, exercising, taking a walk, like Eldrick said before he goes for a run, But then it's also look at the positivity, right? If you can't change your outcome, then you better change your mindset.
Yep.
So
That's right. That's right.
So talk a little about your journey, Jeremy. I know you were in China working for a while, and you've been through several career changes. What was that like, regards to when you were going through your low?
Okay, before we go into that, I
Okay.
just want to point out something about jobs, passion about a job, that kind of thing. For anyone who has been in a job, say for a couple of years, and has done a little bit of job changes, you will understand that there is no perfect job. Doesn't exist. There will be one aspect, if you're lucky, 2, 3 aspects, if you're not so lucky, that you will hate, because it's just so multi-dimensional, right?
Right.
It could be your boss. It could be the pay versus the time you put in is not good. It could be that your colleagues, the toxic environment is too far. You rigid, regimental. You need to clock in way before 9 or 8. There will be so many things, so many areas that if you really want to nitpick, that there will not be a perfect job. Something is going to fail you, whatever aspect it is. So it just boils down to what is the negative part that you can take better, you can deal with, you can live with, and then you focus on the good side of things. And the other thing about jobs is this, right? And I dare say I dare say nobody, 100%, nobody takes up a job with the mindset that I'm going to go in and screw up this whole job so I get myself fired. Show me someone who thinks that way. Never. You take on a job, you go in, you want to do your best. You want to show that you have value. Some people just want that salary, right? More or less, I just take the same amount of salary. But there are some people who like to go in and push themselves further, or to learn, or to network, or to climb the corporate ladder, or make lots of money, whatever, right? You go in with a very positive mindset, positive goal. Nobody goes in to say that I'm going to get myself fired, right? Within 3 months, I'm going to screw up so bad, I'm going to get fired. Nobody set that kind of goal. Okay, show me someone with us. I like to speak to this person. So those are really like the foundation or the basis when we talk about, the mindset when you go into a job. Now, then the thing is this, you weigh it out, you measure it, you go into the job. After a while, you feel that you don't like it, because one of the biggest things, especially for marketing, is this, job role, clarification. The problem with marketing is it's a lot of things can fall into marketing. Almost, right? You agree that, Kevin?
Yep, I agree.
Everything could be marketing. That's what it boils down to. You, when you are thrown a job that you probably don't feel that it is 100% marketing, what do? Do you take it or don't you? Right? So this is where I sort of weave a little bit into my work. Many times I've questioned certain things that are thrown in my way, whether it's a marketing job, but I still do it nonetheless, because I won't say I have a growth mindset, but I thought it'd be fun to do. So I just take it, see how far I can go. For example, go and do translations, simultaneous translations, or not simultaneous. Somebody says a line in English, translate into Chinese immediately with no idea, no script whatsoever, right? Put yourself in a seminar and you got to do it for the entire day. Yeah, that failed terribly, by the way, the first time I did it. Be MC for town hall. Global CEO flies in, be up on the stage together with him, and same thing, do the translations. MC and do translation at the same time, right? Q&A, in front of hundreds of people. Never done it. Is it marketing? Why not pay for a professional to do it? There's always that option, right? But did it nonetheless. Go organize a what you call it, team building exercise, and organize this entire kickoff meeting. 2 weeks. Find a place somewhere, get the budget ready, organize the whole thing, and do team building at the same time, and host the whole thing at the same time, right? And plan everything at the same time. Haven't done it before. Will it be fun? Did it, and I learned immensely. So back to Audrey's question, tell everyone what I like about my job. I have always knew I wanted to do marketing, which is why I think I'm in the job of my choice, and what I would really choose to, and I think it's the right path for me, proven well so far. What I like my job actually is the fact that it is not sales, because sales has immense pressure, but that's also the flip side of my job, because I'm a cost center, right? I need extra hard. I need to really show my value, because I'm a cost, and I need to help sales. But but really, I think a lot of the aspects that I enjoy my job really is dealing with people. Then what is marketing? Marketing is the art and science, of textbook definition. Art and science of bridging the gap between the need and the want, and the demand, supply and demand side. Okay, but that aside, I think I've said it before. The best part of what I enjoy about marketing really is organizing events, getting in touch with people, seeing the happy faces of events that I organize, and that's one aspect that hasn't happened in a while. Physical events, that is, it only happens online now. So back to where I was, in line with this topic on mindset. I think I'm a lot of places, but you really have to take things in your stride, especially those who are starting out in their career. You really cannot draw the line on what you're supposed to do or not supposed to do, unless it is terribly wrong, it borderlines on ethical issues. Otherwise, a lot of times you can't really say that, oh no, this, yes, you can, but it's not nice if you said, oh no, this is not my job scope. I'm not going to do it. And I guess for Asians, right, we will just, take what our boss asks us to do, right? Especially when you just join. But that sometimes contributes to not liking your job because you feel that it is not your scope, but you do it anyways. It's gray. It's very hard to define. It's a case by case basis. But I think what will help you along the way is to see it as a chance to learn, see it as a chance to expose yourself to, say, maybe another department, learn a different process, and see some value from doing something that you feel could be out of your job scope. That's how I would see it, right? And to answer your question, right, Kevin, how I managed to get out of some of the lower points of my career, that's a tough one to answer, because the lowest point of my career is when I didn't have a job for more than a year, 15 months or so. But that's not job related. That's the absence of a job causing, all the stress and all that. But if I were to say, really put it together on what was the worst job I had and how I get out of it, it's actually not a choice of mine to make. It was actually when I was in the military. Our good friend Norman can attest to that. Yeah, there was the time when I had already been commissioned as an officer of the military. I was in charge of logistics, and my day looks something like wake up at 7, go into the office at 8. My dear friend Norman, who is the assistant for my boss in the military, will come in, every day, and says that, oh, boss wants to see you, and I go and I get a lecture the day that messes up my entire day, because really it's not a fun way to start the day every day. And then I go back and start my day after being lectured by my boss for the many things I didn't do, or as expected to do but didn't do, or whatever it is, right? And that's how I led my life for, I think, 1.5 years as an officer, feeling crappy about my job every day, looking to get out. And yes, you eventually get out of it because you only serve 2.5 years of my time. But the challenge here really is how you go in day out, and face that kind of terrible job, toxic environment. I wouldn't say bad boss, but very high expectations for someone who didn't even choose to be in the job in the first place. Well, eventually I made peace with my boss many years later, met him again. And now looking back, that period of tough time, again, mindset, that period of tough time has got me out of everything else that has come after that. Because every time I face a tough situation at work, I look back during that trying period and say that, hey, if I survive that, I can survive anything. That acts like my foundation to be able to go through and push through any bad situation thereafter. So that has sort of helped build that resilience in me in work, such that I'm no longer faced by anything that comes in that way. So yeah, weird and strangely enough, really tough times, they sort of built me to be able to withstand more. So I guess whatever doesn't kill you does make you stronger. Otherwise, you would have been killed already. So sorry, I missed out some of the question. Aldrich I didn't read.
Yeah, Aldrich was saying,
did I address anything
between sales and marketing? If it's about bridging the difference between customer needs and what we can supply.
Okay, the way I see it, the difference between sales and marketing is that marketing, I hope at least, sorts of sets the direction to help sales strategically. But to be honest, marketing exists to support sales. If marketing does the job well, then sales technically don't have to do anything, because business will come to them. Right? If marketing does the job supremely well. But that's in a perfect world. It probably never ever happens, because you have competitors, right? In any decent industry, there will be competitors, because money is to be made, right? So in that sense, everyone is competing, and so So whichever does the marketing well will get that top of mind awareness. The customer will come to you. Your sales don't have to do cold calling and all that. But if marketing fails or is at the same level as competition, then sales probably will have to work harder. And that's where marketing sort of sets the direction and tells sales that these are the differentiating points versus the competitors. Make sure you stress these things so that you get the business. So in a short definition, I hope that sort of explains it, or at least that's my understanding. Kevin, anything to add?
No, I agree. And I want to go back to what you were saying about we can learn a lot from our failures. And you were saying like resilience, right? Building up during your hardest times. And I mean, I can attest to that too. I feel there was times in my life when my lowest points of my career where it was challenging. Like example, I was a business owner and then I lost everything, so I started over. One, you have a pride issue, you've been a business owner for so long, and then all of a sudden now I went back to work for my uncle's restaurant, and it was inside the campus I graduated from. So like all the professors, I was a successful, business owner, and then now I'm like working at a restaurant at the campus I graduated with my engineering degree, So, but at the same time, I was just talking about talking to Jen about this, my wife, that every job I look back now as I've gotten older, I don't regret any of it because I felt I learned a lot from either my mistakes, my failures, or the experience. And I feel like I say this in my posts a lot on LinkedIn too. I feel humans are like fine wine, right? The older we get, the longer we live, the more you become seasoned. And that's not to offend, the younger folks out there, because what you have going for you is time, which I don't have, right? The older I get, my time gets, but when you're young, go experience things, Experience losing a job, experience a bad job experience is okay, because you got time. But I look back now, I'm like, throughout those bad career, toxic cultures, or when I lost everything, I learned how to have a stronger mindset to get back up and do it again. And now I look back, it also helped me to become almost more competitive as an entrepreneur because I become more fearless. Because I've lost everything once.
Yeah.
And I can come back. So now I look back, if I lose everything again, I don't mind. There's no shame for me. I told Jennifer, if I have to go work at McDonald's, I might not like to. But I'm one of those guys, I don't mind going if it pays me. Right, to keep the bills being paid. And I think that's the level of mindset you have to have, and I think a lot of times it's a pride issue. We can't do this because I have a 4-year degree, or I expect if I lose this job, I need to get something as good or better, right? But there's the reality of you have to survive. So, because the people that's going to make fun of you while you're surviving or judging you, who cares? They're not the ones that's going to write you a check to go pay for your mortgage, your rent, your food, to feed your kids, But guess what? Your job will, any job. So I think one thing I learned in order to get out of an environment that you're not happy is to make a change. And sometimes it's hard to do, and it's a matter of perspective. Same thing with your business, right? I've learned this. There's times I was highly stressed and things wasn't going the way I like. The staff wasn't, it was a stressful team of people, right? Even me as the owner, right? But then I allowed it because I continue doing the same thing. I woke up every day, did the same thing, right? And there's a quote out there that says if you continue to do the same thing every day, then it's insanity, right?
Yeah, definition of insanity with the results not changing.
Yeah, with results not changing. So if you're not happy with your job, if you're not happy the way your business is ran, or is not, your profits aren't there, the key is you have to change. And the only person that can change that is you. No one can do that for you. So one of my biggest thing is, and I tell this even to my staff, if you're so disappointed in coming here, then why do you come here? Or if you're not happy, then you should look somewhere else. You should look, because there's something for everyone, just like there's somebody for everyone, if you're in the dating scene. The same thing with a job. And especially in this market, a lot of people are hiring,
Yeah, currently, yes. Great resignation, right? That's the term bouncing around now. You see on
So Eldrick
internet.
said it is better to continue building new experience daily. Write an article, get rejected. Try to publish a book, go get rejected. Go sell services on social media. Go network with strangers. No, it's true. Like I think it's so. Like life is about this journey, and that's kind of the whole bottoms up perspective theme. We're all born with 0 followers, right? 0 fans besides our parents, right? So the job is you got to go out there and you got to experience things. You got to build relationships. Back in the old days, it's building networking, right? In the real world. Nowadays, you got the metaverse, you got social media, you got live shows. But your net worth is your connections, right? Your network. So I think it's so true. Go gather those experiences. And I think I always look back at my worst days and what helps my perspective when I'm going through a hard time in my career or in my business. I look back at the worst time. Hey, I still came out of it.
Still lived through it.
Yep. So like the storm will always stop, eventually. So.
What what's this? The Marines or something like the toughest day was yesterday.
Yep.
Was that? Is there a better term? Once it happened 10 years ago? I don't know. Maybe to address that, Audrey, and also to touch a bit on what Kevin you just mentioned. Let's talk about the word pride.
Yep.
Or how it exists in everyone. So a few things. I think the pandemic did redefine pride because a lot of people graduated with their university degrees and they were looking for that high-paying job, getting their foot into society, being well paid. All that didn't happen, and suddenly all these undergraduates have to decide if their degrees mean anything or just take a job to pay the bill, right? So we read so many stories, at the grassroots level on people who just try to, make a living and they become delivery drivers when previously they were, I don't know, high and mighty commanding teams of hundreds of people. Things like that happen, right? So is pride relevant? Yeah, of course. But between pride and going hungry, which one will you choose? I myself have had that challenge. Let's put it twice in my life. First time was when I was with the top 3 junior colleges of my time back then, but I did so badly I couldn't get into any university, the local universities. And for the rest of my life, whenever I met anyone from, my ex-junior college mates, they would ask me, oh, which university did you finally go to? And I had to tell people, no, I didn't get to a university. I was one of the really minor ones that didn't really make it. And I went for a polytechnic instead after serving my national service, 2 years in the army. And everyone would look at me and like, is this guy real? Is he joking? Or is he just pulling a fast one at me? And that's why, if you do it enough times, you know how to swallow the pride and live with it. Yeah. So that's one incident. The other time really was when I was without a job for 15 months or so. pride, yeah, holding out for that job that's going to pay me higher, that never came. And you get to a point whereby you are running out of money, you don't have money to feed your family, and what do? You go for whatever job interviews that's there, that's willing to speak to you, despite knowing that they're probably just going to pay you a fraction of what you made, right? So to be honest, I have deep respect for those who used to do a high-paying job, but are really just trying to make a living. Not necessarily doing what they don't like, but really doing a job to, put food on the table. I mean, so many times I've gone into a taxi and spoken to taxi drivers, and, they like to share their stories. And yeah, I heard quite a fair bit, especially people who have had glorious careers, but, at some point in their age, they no longer can find jobs, so they take to driving taxis. Does it mean that there's less value to their work than in the past? I don't think so. But I think they didn't let their pride get in the way, and they're still trying to make a living. And I think at the end of the day, that's what every one of us is trying to do. Well, unless if you're born with a silver spoon, that changes the narrative. And you probably don't have to work, so you probably will not be on this live stream anyway to listen to us struggling people. For the future-oriented discussion on mindset, mindset is what it is you have in your head. The biggest two mindsets are fixed mindset and growth mindset, right? If I understand it correctly by definition. And most people like to think they have a growth mindset, but I guess it's the actions that really, really translates to whether you have that or not. Like I mentioned earlier, your job scope or your job description defines you to do a specific set of duties, right? But when you get thrown to do something that you're not supposed to, or not within that defined scope of duties, do you take it? Fixed mindset versus growth mindset.
No, and
right.
Eldrick pointed out something. He said, okay, future mindset discussion, right? But I think our mindset is predicated by, our future-oriented mindset, right, is predicated by our past experiences. So I think the way we think our future is always tied to our past. So, example, if you look at people who commit crime, right? Why do judges look at their past, their history, right? Or even employment, why do they look at your resume, right? Because your past does tie to the mindset for your future, how you go think, how you do things. Of course, there's individuals that redefine their future, But I think when it comes to future mindset, right, I think, of course, you want to growth. You want to, better yourself, and you want to, be self-driven, motivated, and things like that. And those are important, right? And look ahead, right? But at the same time, as you're looking ahead, our past does define who we are, right? And it's good to learn from the past. I always say it's good to learn from your past, but don't dwell on the past. Don't, this is so negative, and just become this Igor, right? And Winnie the Pooh, he's always negative, right? So you got to move on and go, okay, this is what happened. I learned from it. Okay, this is gone. Let's move forward. I think that's so important. But regards to future growth mindset, what are things you do, Jeremy, that help you stay positive to look forward?
I just want to address before I answer the question. I think what Aldrich shared earlier in the text chat really is very, very, very valuable. The part when he says that, get rejection, talk to strangers, try something different, really, really that builds up on your experience, which will help lay the foundation to push you further ahead. Because imagine this, if you have never experienced any of this, right? Be it the experience if it's like 20 years or 10 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever. The thing is that if you experience something dramatic or traumatic enough that it sticks with you, and you get the experience and the learnings out of it, it will stay with you for a long time. It shapes your mindset. It shapes how you think. It shapes how you see the future.
So
So,
Jeremy, that's why
yeah.
when you watch the romantic comedy or the movies, right? They always
Mhm.
show the first breakup. The movies are always about your first love and the breakup. They don't show you your fifth. They don't do movies about the guy that has his 15th breakup.
Always the first one,
It's always the first one, right?
because that's the one you cry over. But
Yeah.
then the following one's just another breakup. Let's move on, go for the next person, etc. Yeah. So in that sense, that's there's value in all this. There's value in the experiences. But if you choose to live in a bubble or insulate yourself against all this possible experience and always take the safe path, assuming you are lucky enough to be always on the safe path, then yeah, no pain, no gain. You've never experienced any pain, you don't gain anything. And that's why these experiences will still be relevant 10 or 20 years down the road, because the things that I've experienced that were like seared into my mind are still as fresh as it is today, as it was that happened 10, 20 years ago. Still remember. And those will be the ones that define how you see the future. So what can you do, right? To have a more positive mindset, growth mindset, whatever you want to call it. Um, I don't think I have a short answer for that, because if you look at yourself and at the point in time now who you are, a lot of things really can't be changed. It's very easy to advocate, oh, have a good growth mindset, have a good growth mindset. Yeah, I have this challenge with my daughter. I don't think she has that mindset at 11, and you tell her, oh, have a good growth mindset, learn from it, blah blah blah. No, it's not going to work. But if you are much older, and you are trying to learn or adopt a growth mindset, it can be hard, because maybe there isn't anyone to help you along with it, or you have not gained enough life experience, or you're just not capable of it because you think that this is who I am, the best there is, ever was. You are just not capable to have a growth mindset. Then those are the people that, too bad lah. No matter how much people warn you or teach you or try and coach you, it's kind of hard to get through. That's why you have life coaches, career coaches, right? Because there are people who exist that they think that they are the best in what they do, and no, I'm not going to take a job lower than what I'm supposed to be paid for, blah blah blah, etc. There will be people like that. So I'm sorry if there are people like that. I don't know. Maybe you could listen more to our podcast. I don't know. Maybe it helps, or have a talk with me or Kevin.
So I think for me, what has really helped me, regards to more a future-oriented discussion, right? I mean, the pandemic has been hard. Even for me, I'm an introvert. At first, 1 year is fine. 2 year, it started. Man, I want to have some guests at the house, or be able to, like just recently, one of our clients, they had a COVID case and it spread. And you just don't know. It's like you can roll the dice, and some of us met up with them not too long ago, and it's like you just don't know, right? But I think the key to having that growth mindset, or that positive, I think overall I'm a decent, like pretty positive person, and what has helped me is to take action. I think as soon as you stop moving is when negativity comes in. So for me, is when I catch myself being negative, for me is working or taking action, doing something, right? And it goes back to the whole thing of change, right? Okay, example. If you lost your job, go find a job. Start looking, right? Send resumes out, hit
Oh,
the
no, no,
doors.
no. No, stay in bed, self-pity. Oh, I'm not going to get a job that's
Yeah.
going to be better paid than this.
Yeah, so
I'm going
you
to be
have to
jobless
take
forever.
action, right? If your business, the margins aren't where it's at, your business is going, the trajectory is going the other way versus this way, then you have to take action. Hey, look at how we're doing marketing. How are we doing sales? What can we do? Is it the employees? Is it the staff? Do we need new products? Do we need new services? So I think too often times we get ourselves caught in this negativity or this mindset, right? Like even I've experienced where I worked for a corporate job. I knew I was going to get laid off, or knew I was the one being cut. Then what does that look like? So I have to say the reason I started J29, it was one of those situations. I knew my days were close to an end, right? So I started writing my own future. I was like, okay, let's consult clients on the side. And it goes back to what Eldrick said, side hustle, right? So I started consulting small businesses on the side on marketing. So even when I, got the letter or the note, I was like, I'm ready to leave.
Fine. Yeah.
It's fine, So it wasn't stressful. It wasn't painful, because by the time I left, I was almost making the same salary I was at my job, my day job. So I think the key is you have to take actions. And I played sports when I was younger, right? And one of the biggest thing is in order to improve and change the trajectory of your how you're playing, you have to practice, right? You have to exercise more. You have to run more. So I think it's the same thing with career, business. When you're a standstill, and it goes the other way too, right? When you think you're already at the top of your game because you're happy with your results, and you just have this pride that, hey, I'm the number one in the company already. That's a scary place too, because that's when someone else is going to knock you out. I think as humans, right, it's like the bottoms up perspective. Everyday people, we're always on a journey. And it doesn't matter who you are, you're still an everyday person. It doesn't matter Elon Musk, yeah, he has billions of dollars, but tomorrow it could be, Jeff Bezos could be number one. It always changes hands, right? You can't be on top forever. So I think it's so important. A growth mindset is also being humble and being able to accept that, hey, I'm not going to be the best every single day. So I can learn from other people. I can, learn a new trade, or do something and get my hands dirty. So I think it's so important. So, yeah. Thoughts, Jeremy?
Two things I want to speak to. One of it is support structure. Another one is learning from others. Let's come back to the support structure later. But I want to talk about learning from other people. I think this is something that has stuck with me throughout my entire work career. I used to get in interns all the way to Shanghai to work for me. I had like 6, 7, I can't remember, I lost count. Every year I had one. First few years I had 2. I still keep in touch with a few of them. The point is this, there is always something to learn from anyone, regardless of their age, their experience. Because if they're young, they don't have experience, but they have energy. They have a fresh perspective of things. And those things sometimes drop off you, no matter how jaded you are in your job, in your position, in your company. So things like that are good. And not just like interns or younger people. When you speak to people, learn from their lessons. Of course, it would be good if you have a mentor in life, whether officially or unofficially, because people who are older than you, more experienced than you, can share things with you, can give you advice. Of course, if you actively seek it. Pride again, yeah. If you have pride, you will not seek a mentor, right? And you won't learn. Mentors are important because they help you shortcut certain things, or they help you work through bad times, or they help you anticipate bad things coming, so you avoid that bad thing altogether, right? So I think mentors are important, and you can learn from anyone and everyone. There's always something there. You just need to look into it, and you have to be humble. So, and that weaves into what I said earlier about support structure. That you need to be building out that support structure every day, because there will not every day is going to be bright and sunny at work. Relationships matters. At work, your support structure, meaning people who work alongside with you, people who may not be of same rank as you. The frontline people usually know a lot more, and you get that feedback, and it will be useful, because then you act as the bridge between the frontline and, say, top management, for example. And support structure does not only include the people you work with in your department, other departments. Your most immediate support structure has to work, i.e., your family.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. If you have a crisis at home, right? Like, for example, COVID hits your home and all these emergencies, you really can't function at work, right? Or you go the other way around. For whatever reason, you lost your job, and if things also don't work out in the family, God,
Ooh,
it's super tough,
it's awful.
super tough. Yeah. So if you need to look at, if you want to have like a future-oriented kind of a mindset, or to help things to help you in the future, always work on this what I call support structure. And the way I look at life is this, yeah. I always sort of categorize it in just few areas, yeah. Work is one of them. Work, family, health, experience. Experience will include education as well, yeah. Work experience, yeah, and your network, yeah. So 5 things, yeah, sort of 5 things, yeah. Your health, your work experience, family, and I can't remember. But the important thing is this: all these things belong to you except for one thing, which is work. Work is probably the only transient thing that doesn't stick with you. One trying to say is work does not define you, but your health, your experience, your education, your family, and yeah, health. Yeah, I think I can't remember what the 4 things that. Yeah. So if you look at it from this perspective, then work really is the least important in your life, in a way, because it comes and goes, it shifts in and out. But the rest, maybe they come and go. Family, they go. Most of the time they go. New family members come and go as well. But you get my point. They are with you. That's why this support structure is very important. Of course, individually, your health is important, because if your health sucks, everything else goes down the drain, right? So if we boil it down to these few aspects of life, then it's quite clear, yeah. Work does not define you. Hence, you need to work on all the other areas that really defines you, that you take along with you: your network, your experience, your family, health, and that will be the simplest way I see it. So if you're going to make any sort of future-oriented decisions, yeah, look at your life in those aspects and see what are you giving up for work, right? Yeah, because your time is limited.
Yeah. So the Bottoms Up group, we're gonna be taking a break for 2 weeks, and we're gonna be back next year on the 5th or the 6th if you're in Asia. But the reason I chose this topic is I think it's so important as you look to the new year, right? There are some of you folks out here watching this tonight. You're unhappy with where you're at, either your career, your business. Just remember, hey, the rainy days, the cloudy days, the sun will always come back up, right? And it's like Jeremy said, your career, your work, your title really doesn't define you, right? And I've learned this over the years. Some of my happiest times in my life was when I was broke. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. It's not always.
I can't say the same though.
yeah, and everyone's life is a journey. It's always different, right? It's like there's music, right? And more money, more problems, right? But it really depends. But then there's times, hey, having money does, buy you the things you can enjoy. I don't agree with people that say, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. Well, it can buy things that make you happy, right?
But whether it's temporary or permanent, that's the question.
Yep. Yeah. But I think the key is, stress, I think, doesn't matter what culture you're in. Stress kills you, and it's stress that makes life unhappy. So the goal of life while you're on this journey is to eliminate as much of stress as possible. Because when we're talking about, a lot of people on LinkedIn, I read their content. Oh, it's all about being happiness, right? But the key is about how you control your stress, right? So if you're very good with, there's some people like I'm still working on it, but I've met some people that are very stressed at first. It's like they're not very stressful. They're just so laid back and, oh, okay, I lost my job. Woo, and I was like, huh? So like, but then it's a mental perspective, right? So I think the key as you're going into 2022, challenge your mind and everything. And that's why we call it bottoms up perspective with our show. Is everything's defined by how we see things. So if you see it a certain way and it causes you stress, then you're bringing that stress to yourself, but if it's a little shift of perspective, it can change everything, even turn the negative into positive. So, yeah. So 2022 is right around the corner.
Kevin, not just those that who are looking at the end of the year and are not so happy. Yeah, even those who have made a killing this year, looking into the next year, always have that. Be cautiously optimistic. Do not be overly optimistic, because as we all know, right? There's a Chinese saying, right? 花无百日红. Flower does not appear red, for 100 days every day. It's never going to be sunny every day for the rest of your life. There's no happily ever after. So even if you're in a very good position right now, always be mindful. Work on your support structure. Always be mindful that if the worst case scenario happens, the worst case scenario is the end of the world. But if at your work, if the worst case, it could happen. Yeah, look what happened to the dinosaurs. So if the worst case scenario happens, will you be able to survive it, or what have you done such that you can absorb that worst case scenario better? Like for my case, for my last learning of not having a job for 15 months, my biggest learning was this. I got no evidence to prove that I know digital marketing, that I know content marketing. So guess what? I'm doing this of the many things I'm doing online. That's me trying to build that resilience, working on that worst case scenario when I'm in a good position, because I need to cushion the impact if I lose my job again. But this time it'll be different from the last time because I got things to show.
Yep. So before we end the night, in the words of Eldrick, right? Always sharpen your toolbox. Always, improve your skill set and create value yourself. One is value yourself, and when you value yourself, other people will value you. So, all right, guys, thank you, folks, for being on the show tonight, and we look forward to seeing you after the new year. Don't miss us too much. All right, later.
Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. Work on your support structure this holiday season.
Yep. All right, later, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for the support. Bye.